1, 2, 3, 4.
In die donker, in die dale, in die twyfel en die vrae, waarin sal ek vashou, by wie sal ek skuil, as geloof in my wil wankel, en seer my weer laat struikel, weet ek wie my hoop, my anker is. Daar is net een naam, deur wie verlossing kom. Daar is net een naam, en ek hou my op hom. Gestuur, geleef, gesterf, gegee en waarlik opgestaan. Allerhoogste naam, Jesus. In die antwoordlose tye word geloof in my gesuiwer. Van die waarheid bly die wapen wat ek sal bely. As gevoelens kom en gevoelens gaan en die storms van die lewe slaan, weet ek wie my God, my redder is. Daar is net een naam, deur wie verlossing kom. Daar is net een naam, en ek hou my op hom. Gestuur, geleef, gesterf, gegee en waarlik opgestaan. Allerhoogste naam, Jesus. Kom nou oor my siel en hou jou op hom. Hou jou op hom. Kom nou knieë kniel, vertrou net op hom. Vertrou net op hom. Kom nou oor my siel en hou jou op hom. Hou jou op hom. Kom nou knieë kniel, vertrou net op hom. Vertrou net op hom. Daar is net een naam, deur wie verlossing kom. Daar is net een naam, en ek hou my op hom. Net een naam, deur wie verlossing kom. Daar is net een naam, en ek hou my op hom. Gestuur, geleef, gesterf, gegee en waarlik opgestaan. Allerhoogste naam, Jesus. Net een naam, Jesus.
So I am firstly just a disciple of Jesus, a lover of Jesus. Been serving him since 1994 when I was born again. And then I'm a husband to one wife, a beautiful wife, and I'm a father to 3 lovely children. And I believe that family and who you are not on stage is actually more important than who you are when you're on stage. So that's just who I am. I'm a friend to many. I'm a leader. I'm a pastor. I love writing songs, love leading people into worship, love preaching, and also love making disciples one life at a time. That's who I am. So I remember at a young age, I was about 6 years old, and I took a little tennis racket and I put a string on it. And I literally played as if I'm playing guitar, and I sang into the world. And only when I was born again, in that time, I was on a camp, and there was, of course, praise and worship music. And Louis Brits was the worship leader at that point, and a lot of inspiration that I got from him. My sister taught me how to play the guitar, and from a young age, I started to write songs. First, it was love songs, broken relationships in high school, and then I started to write some worship songs. And I never planned on being in ministry full time. It's one of those things where God just called me. There was one point when I almost left ministry because of hurt or offense or whatever combination of that. But then I just knew that God called me. He confirmed it. And to make Jesus famous is basically, if I would sum up a ministry, to make much of Jesus and to lift him up in whatever way I can, whether it be through song or preaching or discipling, is to make Jesus famous. And that's been the calling of my life. So for about 2 years, I had a bit of a song drought, especially in Afrikaans. I co-wrote some songs with other people, but I remember driving back from holiday in December and wondering how did I write all these other songs in my past, and I know that the secret has always been intimacy, that ministry is born out of intimacy. And then in end of January, I got a bit of a fright. There was a tumor found on my pituitary gland that's in my brain, literally. They had to perform a operation on my brain, and it was a time of a lot of turmoil and a lot of emotions going around between me and my wife and the kids and church and all of that, and people praying. And I remember the evening before I went into the operation, I just kind of asked God, Lord, just give me another chance. I would just love to keep on doing this for you. And the operation was successful. It was non-malignant, and that kind of stuck in my spirit, most probably, if I want to say it like that. So that experience plus the drought, then around the Passion time, around Easter, just thinking about what Jesus did, that he came, he died, and he rose again for us, and because of his love, just came to me. That scripture in the book of Acts, there's only one name under which men can be saved, under heaven. And I remember it was a long weekend. I was busy tiling and grouting at our stoep at home, and the song just started to come and just started to breathe life into the music, and the lyrics came, and before I knew it, there was a song, and I pulled my producer together. We just said, let's do this. Didn't have a lot of time, no budget, but God provided, and he opened up a way, and it's a declaration of there's only one name that I went through, and I believe people that's going through that as well can identify. There's only one name that we can hold on to when the storms hit, and there's only one name that's worthy of all our worship and all our love and all our adoration. So in the bridge, it's basically almost echoing the words of the psalmist that says, come on, O my soul, and hope in God, hope in God. I've done a lot of preaching to myself through the years. It's easy to speak to other people many times. It's easy to preach and encourage, but when you need to encourage yourself, you have to dig down deep, and that's what the bridge part says, is come on, my soul, and trust in God, and come on, knees, surrender before him and kneel before him and keep your eyes on him. And I do believe we need to preach to ourselves a lot more often, and just to keep our eyes on him and to have this one name on our lips and to encourage ourselves. Now, I loved every moment of this acoustic version. It just kind of came out of, I believe, God's heart, just crossing paths with this amazing team. And it was just so much fun just to hear a song in a different way and working with people with the same heart to honor Jesus with all that they do and to have a good sound and quality. But we had so much fun. I really loved this moment. Oh yeah, so my kids really doesn't like me singing that much. So my kids would always tell me, "No, put on Black, Joe Black, or put on Jason as the Beyond Music group. And like, if I try and sing, they said, no, shoo, we want the other guys. So God knows how to keep us humble with our own families. So I really want to encourage songwriters, whatever language, whatever age you are, whatever background, as especially worship songwriters, to really write scripture, not just emotions, because scripture will last, our emotions won't. To write true, and to write Christ-exalting songs. And worship is born from revelation. That the more we see Him, the more we cannot help but worship. So to encourage all those out there to write songs that comes from a place of intimacy, a place of wonder, a place of awe-ness about this incredible God that we serve, and to position ourselves in a world where we are confronted with so many influences and so many distractions, to put time away, to just breathe in, to be in nature, to read scripture, to wait on God, and from that place to write and to co-write. The moment when we co-write, there's a humility that kicks in, because you have to submit your song to the group or to the other person. And I believe it's not about our egos. It cannot ever be about our egos, because God doesn't share His glory with another. And let's just keep it as simple as that. I really want to encourage you to support Wonderco, this great movement. Subscribe, like it, share it, and be part of this movement.